4,000 years ago, in ancient Mesopotamia, most people were not kings. They were farmers, laborers, temple workers, boatmen. They lived in mud brick houses. They worked under the sun. They depended on the rivers. So what did they actually eat? Not royal feasts. Not legendary banquets. Just the food that kept them alive. Today, we reconstruct the real diet of ordinary Babylonians using archaeological evidence and surviving clay tablets dated to around 2000 to 1700 BCE. This reconstruction is not imagination. It is built from written records and physical remains. Our evidence comes from multiple sources. Old Babylonian clay tablets, written in Akkadian cuneiform. Administrative ration records detailing grain distribution. Archaeological plant remains recovered from ancient settlements. Animal bone analysis from excavated houses and refused pits. Brewing texts, such as the hymn to Ninkasi and culinary tablets, preserved in the Yale Babylonian Collection. These are direct records from the time itself. They allow us to move beyond myth and speculation. The landscape of survival. Mesopotamia means the land between rivers. The Tigris and Euphrates shaped everything. Seasonal flooding made agriculture possible. Irrigation canals carried water into fields. Without organized farming, there was no food. And without food, there was no city. The foundation, barley. The single most important food was barley. Barley was everywhere. It grew in irrigated fields along the rivers. It was harvested, dried, stored, and measured. It was recorded in economic tablets. It was used to make flatbread, thick porridge, beer. Many workers were paid in barley rations instead of silver. Barley was currency. Barley was security. Barley was life. Without barley, Babylonian society could not function. It was not just a crop. It was the backbone of daily survival. Bread, the daily staple. Barley bread was likely coarse. It may have been flat and dense, ground using stone tools, baked on simple clay surfaces, or inside basic ovens. This was not refined flour. It was practical nourishment. Bread was eaten daily. Beer, the daily drink. Beer was not luxury. It was daily nutrition. The hymn to Ninkasi, written around 1800 BCE, describes elements of the brewing process. Barley was soaked. Bread-like loaves were fermented. The mixture was strained and consumed. Babylonian beer was thick, cloudy, rich with grain sediment. It likely contained nutrients from the grain itself. It was also probably safer than untreated river water. Even children may have consumed diluted forms. This was not modern beer. It was closer to fermented barley broth, filling, nourishing, practical. Vegetables, the flavor of daily life. Clay tablets frequently mention onions, leeks, garlic. These vegetables grow well in irrigated soils. They form strong flavor bases. Coriander and cumin also appear in written recipes. This suggests that Babylonian food was not bland. It was aromatic, layered, seasoned with intention. Even simple stews likely carried depth. Meat, not every day for everyone. Modern imagination often assumes ancient people ate meat constantly. The evidence suggests something different. Animal bone remains show sheep and goats were common. Fish was widely eaten in river settlements. Cattle were valuable and less frequently consumed. Meat appears in stew recipes preserved on the Yale tablets. These recipes combine lamb, leeks, garlic, herbs. Grain but written recipes may reflect temple or elite kitchens. Ordinary laborers likely ate meat less often. For many, it was occasional, not routine. Fish, however, may have been more accessible near rivers, dairy, and other foods. Milk and dairy products are also documented in administrative texts. Butter and possibly soft cheeses were known. Dates were cultivated in southern Mesopotamia. They provided sweetness and calories. Food was practical, high in grain, moderate in vegetables, limited in meat, structured around what the land could reliably produce. What this tells us, this diet reveals something important. Ancient Babylon was not primitive. It had organized agriculture, structured ration systems, trade networks, culinary traditions, written documentation of food preparation. Daily life revolved around grain, beer, vegetables, and occasional meat. Not constant feasting, not constant hunger, but structured survival within one of the world's earliest urban civilizations. Closing. History is often written in the names of kings, but daily life survives in food. And 4,000 years ago, in the heat of Mesopotamia, survival began with barley and beer.